Hi, my name is Susan Weimer, and I'm here with a video for Picket Fence Studios. I'm over on the blog today, and we'll be making this sparkly distressed coffee card because it is actually Black Friday today, and we all need coffee because we've either made turkey, we've gone shopping, or we don't live in the U.S., but we're sick of hearing about it. So anyway, here is the giveaway. I have the instructions over on my Instagram channel at Susan_Weimer. And I will be giving away a set of the 4-pack of the larger brushes, which are the ones I use most frequently, and the Gnome stamp and the Wintry Wonderland stamp, as well as our black hybrid ink. And while my brain is working, let me explain. So at the end of this video, I'll need you to leave a comment and leave your username for Instagram there as well, so that I'm going to be announcing the winner over on Instagram. So I'll need you to do that, and I'll explain more at the end. So here's the card that I was inspired by. This is a card by Dawn Woolslegel. It's a very different style that we're going to make, but she used chunky embossing powder. And I'd completely forgotten about my stash of chunky embossing powder until I saw that. And I also just was really inspired by how beautiful her card was done. And I do believe that we need to give credit to those who inspire us. So I have our Coffee Understand stamp set, our Rough Around the Edges background, which is my new fave, some aged gold enamel embossing powder from Stampendous, and the Shabby white enamel embossing powder as well, which is just gorgeous. Some Versamark ink, my MISTI, and I have 2 magnets and some Neenah Solar White. Now, I did learn from this that it would be better if I had used Neenah Solar White 110. That said, however, it all works out in the end because this embossing powder is so strong that it unwarped the paper. You'll see. So the first thing I'm going to do is ink the surface of the paper with my Versamark ink. And then we're going to apply the embossing powder. So I should note that if you really don't like having a messy desk, you should do this somewhere where you don't mind making a mess, because it was messy. Took a couple Swiffers, baby wipes, and look at that chunky glitter. But yes, it got everywhere. And I even had to get the vacuum out. I don't really care if my room gets messy. With mediums, I care that it gets cluttered, but I don't mind making a mess with paint or ink or anything like that, because to me, that's part of the fun. But if that bothers you, I would do this somewhere else, because these are really thick pieces of embossing powder. So what I'm going to do first, and what I learned in Dawn's video, is that you can heat the embossing powder from the back. Now, who knew? Okay. I mean, maybe in all of those classes that I took back in the beginning, years and years and years ago, they taught us that, but I don't remember that. Look at the sparkle. Oh my goodness. I feel like a squirrel. Squirrel. But anyway, so I obviously wasn't paying attention in one of those stamp classes that I took, because that was back in the day when you actually had to go to a store and take a class. There wasn't anything, or if there were YouTubes, I don't remember watching them. And so I'm hitting this with the embossing gun and melting that Shabby white embossing powder, which is just gorgeous on its own. It's stunning. I bought it, I think at Whimsidoodle in St. Petersburg, Florida. I was out on a road trip with my mom. We do that once a year, and I picked it up. I thought, oh, that looks interesting, and then completely forgot about it until I saw Dawn's video. So just embossing that, making sure that it's all there, cleaning off my desk. There was a little break in there while I did that. So now I have our Rough Around the Edges background stamp, which is going right in the front of my background stamp collection. This is going to be one that I use a lot. It's because of the way that the lines are drawn, it gives you a little bit more of a distressed look, and yet you could still do something that's pretty, preppy is not the right word that I'm looking for, but I guess it is. You could use it for a more precisely design, designed image card. I don't know. But anyway, I love it. I think it's beautiful. I used it on another card that I posted just recently with the two geese who are having coffee. I just used it as the background on that. So this is just some Versamark ink that I'm going to apply because we're going to put on another layer of embossing powder. Now I am pushing really hard and I've re-inked it. I'm going to ink it again, but I'm actually not going to get good coverage. Just for whatever reason, it's okay. And we're going to do it again because this is fun. This is all about embossing. And if you have children or grandchildren or nieces or nephews who like to craft, this is one that I think they would love to do, especially because it's not that hard to work with the ultra thick embossing powders other than, it makes a mess and you just have to be willing to deal with it. But this is the aged gold, which has a very fine black metallic powder in there as well. That is just stunning. So now I'm just going to take it, swirl it around, and get it on the little bits of Versamark that might be in that blank area that didn't stamp as well as I wanted it to. And again, this is okay. We're going to start heating it from the back so that the particles don't fly away. And but my kids, they're all grown up now. I'm pretty sure they were 7 or 8 when they started embossing. Pretty sure. My son preferred die cutting, and my girls love to emboss. So give it a try. It was a lot of fun. So I'm just heating this up, and I'm going to put it back into my MISTI and restamp it. And it's going to be okay if it's not perfectly lined up because this is very thick embossing powder and it's all going to melt together, sort of. But you'll still see the lines. I don't mean that you won't. I just wanted more of the stripes there in the center because I had the card visualized in my head a certain way, which didn't work out. But that's a whole other story. We'll discuss that later. So I putting some more powder on here. And really, this is a quick card to make. It might seem like it was a lot of work, and you can see that black shiny stuff right there. Oh, it is gorgeous. And it's not. I think I had probably 45 minutes of footage, and I got it down to like 15 minutes, really. So it wasn't that hard. And most of it was because I was experimenting as I went along, trying to figure out exactly how I got this. So at this point, I texted a picture of this to our design team group, and Lydia Fiedler just about fainted. And Nicole Peterson, who is the owner and designer of Picket Fence Stamps, said, I am off to shop. And so she got some of this embossing powder as well. She loves to heat emboss. So this is a good one to have in your stash. But look at that. I mean, it's just gorgeous even on its own. You could die cut that. So I've die cut a tag out of some Nina Solar White, 80-pound cardstock. I could not find this tag. It's a Simon tag. I couldn't find it, but I've tried to get something as close as possible in the description box below and over on my blog. I just didn't have a tag that was the right size for this image and for the sentiment that I really wanted to use. However, what I do have to say about this image is that I just love that she stamps, her pants are stamped so solidly. Those skinny jeans are not easy to color or easy to put on. And this makes it easy. It really did. And it reminds me of Mary Tyler Moore when she wore those beautiful black, I guess it would have been leggings back in the day on the Dick Van Dyke Show. And she always looked so elegant in her beautiful tops and her bouffant hairdo. And oh my goodness, I remember watching that show and just adoring how she looked. But anyway, so we're using W0, W1, W3, and a smidgy bit of W5, because that's what I usually do with these grays, to color in her shirt. And I am following some of the lines to give her a little bit more dimension in her top there. Doesn't look quite right from here, but that's what I was doing. Sorry, I just had to look at my phone. So for her face, I'm going to use E11, E01, E00, E000, and then some R20 for her cheeks. And I made sure to give her some really good blush because it's chilly outside and she's drinking a strong coffee, and you know that stuff's going to make you red in the face. Or at least it does for me. Flush. I should say flush. Flashy blush. So, and she is going to have E35, E37, and E39 in her hair. And the black wavy strands make it so easy to figure out where to put the highlights. And I just really adored coloring this image, and I will be using her again soon. So she has a planner in her hands. That's what this is. And it happens to match her shirt. Now, the idea that this is a planner started off because I'd been texting back and forth with a girlfriend about having any success using a planner. Which ones do you recommend? And so I had just bought a planner, and I texted a picture to my friend, and she texted back almost the exact same. It's the same planner, just a different front. So that was hysterical because neither one of us are doing very well at using our planners. But, that's okay. So at this point, I'm trying to figure out how exactly to use this, just going to fix up her legs there, how to put the sentiment in there. And I'm going to end up using Good to the Last Drop because that reminded me of my grandmother. And I think the coffee she drank was chock full of nuts, and I don't know if that was the slogan for that. But anyway, just reminded me of her. So I'm added some Versamark along the edges, and I'm going to just hit that just to blend it into the background. If I had been able to write small enough, I would have written 2019 on her little planner there, because that's why she's gone to the coffee store, because she's going to get together with her girlfriend and do some planning and enjoy some coffee before the rush of the holiday season starts. At least that's what I was thinking. So I'm adding some drop shadows with, I think it's C1 and C3. I can't see, and I didn't quite write that down. So what you can't see is that I have gotten some embossing powder onto that white space, and I don't know how to cover it, which is what I'm doing right. I'm trying to figure out now in my head while I'm doing the drop shadows, how am I going to do this? And it doesn't look right anyway without anything there, because the background is just so busy. And I did want her to pop, so I'm just going to messily add some embossing coffee-like stains, if you will, onto this. Now, what I didn't remember at this point was that there is a coffee stain image in this stamp set, and I could have used that just as easily. But I kind of like the way this sprinkled look is going on here. I'm going to add a little bit to the other side, and just sprinkle it and messy emboss it. I guess you can call it that. And I'll start off by heating it from the back. So now, I'm sad to say in this next part, you'll see that I didn't cut this right and I lost my full background. I don't know what I was doing, how I made that mistake. So I'm using some 3M foam tape because I want to give as much strength as possible to this background. And I'm mounting it on an A2 card, top folding note card, and then I'm going to put her on here. I've threaded some Lawn Fawn trimmings, I think it's the metallic gold, through there, and I haven't quite figured it out yet, but I'm going to mount her on there. Now, ultimately, I realized after I was done filming this that because there's so much embossing powder on there, she needed the tag needed a stronger adhesive, so I used some score tape to mount that down. You could just as easily use some liquid glue. There's the card, and there she is. She's recovering from Turkey Day and Black Friday, and here's the giveaway. So what I need you to do is leave a comment here, and just also leave your Instagram username, and subscribe to my channel and like this video. I will be closing comments on Monday, the 26th. Yes, I'm looking at my planner, and announcing on Instagram the winner on Wednesday the 28th. So please subscribe, like this video. I hope you win. I had a lot of fun picking out these things for you, and have a wonderful day. Thank you.